Hi everyone, it's Daniel Chin, the founder of Chin Properties. Today, I would like to share with you 3 wealth tips. The first being, you have to know everything about your market before you invest. And that means you have to know exactly how much you can get for rent, who you'll be renting to, and how quickly you can rent these apartments. And you have to know everything about your market before you invest, because when you're making that investment and investing substantial capital, you have to really understand what you're investing in before you invest, because you don't want to lose money in investing, and that's the golden rule. So you really have to know how much you can get for rent, who you'll be renting to, and how quickly you can rent these apartments. Now, really understanding your real estate market before you invest is very crucial, because in the city of Hamilton of Ontario in Canada, every street is a different market. Every street is a different market. So you really have to understand the market before you really get into this city, because I can tell you, when you know what it is you're doing, you'll make money. If you don't know what it is you're doing, you're gonna lose money, and losing money ain't fun. So tip number 1 is you have to know everything about your real estate market before you invest. Tip number 2, buy good properties in good location where there is strong demand and strong growth, well, in this city, in the city of Hamilton, because you can really get caught if you don't know where the money is in the city. The wealthy and successful people, they go where the money is. In this city of Hamilton, Ontario, for example, every year for the past few years, it's over 1 billion in building permits. So you can see the skyline. There is construction happening with new condos. It's like a condo boom that's happening in this town. However, you got to know where the city, the whole master plan of the city, and where they're going for the future plans in the foreseeable future in the city of Hamilton. Where is the money being spent? For example, in the Hamilton waterfront, which is the last frontier for things to happen, you have a major redevelopment happening, 142 billion, right? Redevelopment happening with hotels, condos, restaurants, retail. It's gonna be beautiful, and they have already broke the grounds. So certainly that's a positive factor for real estate around the Hamilton waterfront. Now, the third wealth tip is buy and hold over the long term is the best way to become wealthy. And I'll say that again. The wealth tip number 3, which is probably the most important on how to truly become wealthy, is buy and hold over the long term is the best way to become wealthy. Because when creating wealth, you have to think about how to accumulate the wealth and how to really build the wealth, because when you have to pay capital gain taxes when you dispose the asset or sell the asset, sometimes that could take you a longer time to create wealth or to build wealth over a long time. However, if the asset is held over a long period of time, right, and you don't dispose it, or you find ways where you can defer the taxes, and you can sort of accumulate the wealth. That is the best way to become wealthy, by holding assets for a very long time. And that is wealth tip number 3. Buy and hold is the best way to become wealthy, especially in Canada, what I can tell you, because the taxes are very high. Sometimes employee taxes are around 50%, and taxes is all over the world. We pay our taxes. You can invest and do things legally and pay the taxes, but buy and hold over the long term. You got to have a very long term thinking when it comes to investing, because investments are only fruitful when held over the long term, right? So you got to have a very long term thinking when it comes to investing, and you would really realize the compound interest in the return of your investments. And we know that in 2021 the real estate market, also the stock market, is very speculative, where some no different than 2005, 6 and 7 in the real estate market, or it is very similar to the most recent of 2016, where prices are very crazy high, especially even in Toronto as well, where recently a property that was listed for 1.6 million in the Danforth neighborhood, in 2 days it sold for 2.25 million. So that's about 620,000 above asking in 2 days, which is very crazy. And in Hamilton, also in the Hamilton Mountain, there was a property a couple months ago that also, it sold for about, in a 7-month period, was listed for 430,000 and sold for 830,000, which is almost double. So that is what you see in the real estate market. However, that is short-term thinking and quick profit. There is no get rich quick. The real way to truly become wealthy is to buy and hold over the long term, and that is the best way to become wealthy. So the 3 wealth tips today are: know everything about your market before you invest, number 1. Number 2, buy good properties in good location where there's strong demand and strong growth. And number 3, buy and hold over the long term is the best way to become wealthy. Thank you very much. It is Daniel Chin, the founder of Chin Properties, and these are my 3 wealth tips to share with you, and they're universal, right, in all real estate markets internationally, all over the world, in Hong Kong, China, England, Germany, Barbados in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Florida, Canada, America. It is universal as well. And these are the wealth tips that has made me successful, and hopefully it can make you successful. Thank you very much.